times have you set some goals to find yourself way off track or just frustrated by your lack of progress? Well, I'm going to share with you some reasons, some of the problems with goal setting, why it gets so off track. And then we'll take a look at a framework to make sure that you're setting goals that you really do want to achieve and make sure that you can stay on track with those. Goal setting at its most basic form is simply identifying something that you want to have, a number that you want to hit, or something that you want to accomplish. So why is it so hard? For example, setting a goal of, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 5:30. That's the goal, but then when the alarm goes off, why can't you do it?
All right, I want to wake up at 5 or I want to wake up at 6 tomorrow. If I'm not waking up with something to do, I'm sleeping in.
Totally. For me, like the night before totally dictates what I'm going to do. Like if my workout clothes are like set out, I will work out. But if not, I won't do anything.
Yeah. Dude, what is wrong with humans?
I don't know.
Like we know what we want. Like in our waking hours, we know like, oh, okay, I want to eat healthy. I want to go to the gym tomorrow. And like, I remember that, especially when I was younger, being like especially at night, feeling inspired. Like the next day, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna do so much. And then you wake up, and then you're like, it's a different person.
Yeah, different person. Yeah,
that's true.
Why is goal setting, and probably more importantly, goal achieving, so hard? First, I believe there's two types of people. You have your goal setters, and then you have your problem solvers. And the majority of the world is made up of problem solvers, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's a good thing to solve a problem. Nothing wrong with that. However, goal setting isn't about solving problems. It actually is about creating a problem, and then you go and solve the problem. But let's save the problem solving versus goal setting dilemma for another video. I've been a part of over 100 different types of goal setting or business planning types of workshops and classes. I've individually worked with over 500 people on goal setting and have easily done 10,000 hours of one-to-one coaching and training. And here's how I look at goal setting in my life and in my business. First, the problem with goal setting. Number one, not setting goals and too focused on problems. In a lot of those conversations that I mentioned, I'll ask someone, what do they want? Basically, what's your goal? And their answer typically would involve problems. I can't do anything because of this. I can't do anything because this happened to me. I can't do anything because of this person. And I would say, I understand, I hear that. And what do you want? Well, see, the problem is this, and that. I hear you. But what do you want? If those problems didn't exist, what do you want? Yeah, but these problems, and I have these problems, and this person gives me this problem, and I have all these problems. If you can't get away from your problems, you're never going to be able to get focused on your goals. Number two, setting goals that are too big or too far out. You have to set goals that make sense. And a goal isn't just about a metric of accomplishing something, it's also in the time that you want to accomplish it. For example, I've worked with real estate agents that say, I'd like to increase my business by 500%. So one year they did 10 transactions and they're now saying that they would like to do 50 transactions next year. I don't see anything wrong with the 50 transactions. It's just the timeline that they're putting on trying to accomplish that goal. A much better approach would be, I'd like to double my business or do 100% more. So the next year, that agent that's doing 10 transactions would do 20. Then they would do 40, and then they would do 80. Within 3 years, they're doing 80 transactions by simply increasing by 100% a year, instead of that other agent that wanted to do 500% in one short time span. The other big problem that I observe with goals like this is when you set too big of a goal on too short of a timeline and you don't hit it, it becomes very demotivating. So you get halfway through your year and you know you're not going to hit that goal. So you kind of hit the reset button. But you don't change how you set the goals. You just say, I'm going to try again. So you set a big goal with a short timeline. You get demotivated. You hit the reset button and do it all over again. This becomes what I call a failed goal loop, setting the same goals over and over again and never making progress towards them. Number 3, setting someone else's goals.
Dollars, you can't get more creative than that, man. I'm going to Andalusia, south of Spain, right there. Give me a big house, give me a library full of first editions, get room for my shoes. What about you, Steve?
I don't know, I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided yet? Come on, man. Is it the mountain air? Just...
I liked what you said. I'll take one of each of yours.
well, 2 of everything for Steve, then. Boy.
We're all so in our head, it's crippling.
And what's really tough for me is that most of it is other people's voices manifested into your head. It sounds like your voice, but it's not.
Quite a few years ago, I was working with someone in their business that became super focused on having a luxury vehicle and also getting plastic surgery. And I asked them if that's truly what they want. They said, absolutely. If I had these things, I'd be much happier. I'd feel more successful. And at least they knew what they wanted, supposedly. A few weeks go by and I asked them how they're making progress towards their goals, and there's basically zero progress. A couple more weeks go by and ask, how are you making progress on your goals? And still zero progress. So now a couple months go by and I really challenged them. I asked them directly, point blank, if these are the things that you truly want, these are your goals, why aren't you doing the things that you need to do in order to make progress towards them? It simply came down to she was borrowing the goals from someone else. She didn't really know what she wanted. She was pulling from the idea of what success would look like and feel like to her.
The second strategy, it's better to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to climb than the top of one you don't. I got that from The Office. I'm big into sayings. So about 3 years after I took that $6 an hour job, I was selling advertising for a magazine, and I was doing pretty well at it. And I got a call to come play this local steakhouse. And the gig was such that they said, we want you to play 4 hours. The pay was absurdly low. They made a big deal of the fact that I was going to be fed. They asked me to wear this really goofy shirt with a steakhouse emblem on it and everything. So it was not a sexy gig. And, but at the end of that first night doing that, I knew I was on a ladder I wanted to climb. I also knew I was at the bottom of that ladder, but it was all right. So whenever possible, climb ladders worth climbing.
Here's a bonus problem I see with goal setting. It comes from the framework of SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard of it. SMART goals is by far, in a way, the most known idea on goal setting. But the actual problem with SMART goals is that they're actually a filter for achieving goals. Doing SMART goals doesn't help you decide if these goals are actually worth achieving. So let me share with you a framework that I use called EPIC goals. First step, you set goals in these 6 categories. Number 1, what do you want to do? Number 2, what do you want to have? Number 3, where do you want to go? Number 4, what do you want to become? Number 5, what do you want to learn? And number 6, whom do you want to spend your time with? You could sit down with a glass of whiskey, that's what I absolutely prefer to do, or with a glass of wine, that's what Catherine likes to do, or a cup of coffee or tea, and answer these questions. Or better yet, have a friend or significant other ask you these questions so that you can focus on the answers and where your mind goes instead of being focused on writing down and documenting your answers. Let them write the answers down for you so you can stay focused and in the moment of what it is that you really want to do, have, go, be, learn, and spend time with. And then if you're doing this with someone else, you get to turn around and ask them the questions and you can document their answers for them. And this is actually a really nice process to reconnect with a significant other. These are probably the types of questions that you're actually asking each other on your first couple of dates. Catherine and I do this every couple of months or so, and it allows us to not just reconnect, but know what the other wants to achieve now and support each other on those goals and make the other one aware of what it is that we're now focused on and what we'd like to achieve. Especially with your significant other, you want to make sure that you're moving together in the same direction at the same speed. So inside of these 6 questions, simply give as many answers as you can. Don't limit yourself to a certain amount. If there's one category that you feel more inclined to give more answers to, go ahead and do it. But I encourage you to have at least one answer in each category. Next, pick the top 5 to 7 that excite you the most, that you can see yourself accomplishing or making significant progress on in the next 9 to 12 months. For example, maybe you picked that you want to have a new dream home, and you can't afford to buy that dream home just yet, but you could start to save for the down payment this year. In keeping with this example, you'd want to have a $300,000 down payment for your dream home. So this year, your 9 to 12 month goal would be to save up $100,000, or you could look at it as saving up $8,300 a month. Now let me share with you, this example I gave is a have goal. You would like to have your dream home. But the majority of the people that I share this framework with set the majority of their goals outside of the have category. I believe the reason for this is back to the number 3 problem of goal setting. So many goals are focused on things or numbers or having. So people simply set goals in this category. But once new categories are introduced, people set goals more focused on becoming more patient, or being a person who's on time, or learning an instrument, or learning a language, or spending time with family and friends now becomes a focus and goal. Third, run it through the EPIC goals filter. Just like SMART goals, EPIC is an acronym, and the E stands for excitement. Take one of your goals and ask yourself, does this goal excite you? Why does it excite you? If it's not going to be something that you look forward to doing, if it's not a goal that excites you enough to get you out of bed in the morning, and the day after, and the week after, and the month after, sooner or later when you run into a challenge or a roadblock, you're going to give up on that goal. So first, make sure that the goal truly excites you. The P stands for picture. Can you picture this goal? Can you picture doing what it takes during the process to achieve this goal? Can you picture what things will look like after you've done it? What will your world look like after achieving it? And what's important to you about this new world, this new picture? The I stands for impact. What kind of impact will this goal have on you and your world? And how does this goal impact other goals? For example, long-term goals like retirement. And how does it impact those around you? Let's say you wanted to start training for a marathon. How is that going to impact your time and your family? See, I've observed that a lot of people will give up on their goals because they haven't properly examined how this goal will impact other areas of their life. A goal doesn't just sit inside of a box, and that when it's time to start working on the goal, you pull it out of the closet, and when it's time to focus on other areas of your life, you put it back into your closet. Goals are not singular things. They're not silos. They don't stand by themselves. Goals cross over into all aspects of our life, and so we need to make sure that we're looking at how does this goal impact each area. And finally, C is commitment. How committed are you to this goal, to achieving this goal? Are you 100% committed? I love the idea of climbing Mount Everest. It excites me. I can picture it. I can picture achieving that goal and being at the top of the mountain. I can definitely picture me telling the story of climbing Mount Everest to everyone around me, and I'm going to tell that story over and over again. I can definitely picture it. I can even see how it would impact my world, the good and the bad. And I'm not committed to it. At least not 100% committed to it. I'm probably more like 5% committed to climbing Mount Everest. I'm pretty sure that I like the idea of climbing Mount Everest and not actually the training, the money, the resources, the time, and the risk of climbing Mount Everest.
I like the idea of it more than I actually like it.
And I want to leave you with this thought. The fact that you're watching this video already shows that you're ahead of many others, that you want to be proactive about taking control of your life and your future. That's incredible. First, recognize that. And the second thing is, I want you to remember, don't forget this, that things don't just happen to you. You can make things happen for you. Hey, if you've watched this video all the way through, all the way to this point, that makes me really glad that you did that. So thank you. And we might as well take this to the next level now. So leave me a comment. You've watched this video all the way to this point. Let's go to the next level. Leave me a comment, whatever you want, but here's an idea. Let me know what kind of epic goal you're thinking about setting. There's probably something that popped up into your head while watching this video. Leave me that comment below and make sure that you like and subscribe wherever it is that you're viewing this at. Do the thing that you're supposed to do on that platform.